belts. Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tim.
And this, right here, is a fucking show. What do we do on it?
We talk about bourbon.
We talk about Blockbusters.
And we talk about belts.
We said that backwards, but it doesn't matter. Because we're here, we're best friends, we're having fun, and that's what this is. We're back with episode 28. Crazy.
Moving right along.
Yeah, we're just cruising. It's wild how quickly things go when you move to doing it weekly.
Yeah. No kidding, right?
You
Could you imagine? I can't even think what episode we would be on if it was still every other week.
Bi-weekly, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably about 14.
Right around there.
Half.
Yeah,
Roughly, something
roughly,
like that.
yeah.
I'm close. I mean, it should be something.
In that ballpark.
Any hoozle. We're back. We got a cocktail of the week. Last week we did the Yellowstone bourbon. Ended up being a really nice bourbon to sip on. We both really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think we gave it somewhere in like the 8,
I
7,
gave it 8. You gave it 7.
Yeah, 7 to 8-ish. 7.5 average about.
It's really good. I stand by it.
Same. Yeah, it's really good. The cocktail we have today is phenomenal. As with what we've been doing since December started, even really around the Thanksgiving time, we started with some holiday-themed cocktails. We went with a hot buttered bourbon. All right? So typically, it's a very classic cocktail for winter time. It's typically a hot buttered rum. All right? I've always enjoyed a good hot buttered rum.
I enjoy them as well.
You enjoy them?
Yeah.
Perfect. But obviously, this is a show about bourbon.
Exactly.
So, we did a hot buttered bourbon. So, what that consists of, it's 2 ounces of our bourbon. We got 1 large, nice gargantuan, in our case, scoop, because that's just the way we do things around here, of the hot buttered rum mix. Obviously, the amount is to taste, do however much you want. Hot water, and then we garnished it with whipped cream, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Very simple cocktail, super straightforward, super easy. You literally just put it all, you put the butter, the buttered rum mix, you put the hot water and the bourbon all in a mug, you stir it up so the batter breaks down and dissolves and gets all, cohesive.
Mixed.
The
accoutrement.
You gotta fucking mix it, man. You gotta. And then you just fucking top it with whipped cream and cinnamon and nutmeg.
Yeah.
And then you start drinking it. So
easy a Tim can make it. Let's get sipping.
We've talked already far too much just in the beginning of this.
Holly cheer.
We got another 4 hours ahead of us. That is so fucking good.
It is amazing.
That is so good. That's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yep.
There's no question about it. This is a 10 out of 10 cocktail. This is a 10 out of 10 drink. It's perfect for the season. Yep. Now, and the season does matter, because if you were to give me this on a fucking August night, I'd probably be really disappointed because it's so delicious. But why am I drinking that in August?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's fucking December 14th.
Yep.
Today. It's cold. It's been really fucking a shitty day, honestly.
Rainy,
weather here up in
rainy,
Washington
rainy.
is stormy, dude. There's
Windy.
rain's coming at you sideways. The wind's blowing like a motherfucker. I'm surprised the power's still on. That would be a fucking...
Knock on
I
wood.
shouldn't have just said that. Yeah, no shit.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. I need a smaller knuckle. But yeah, no, it's perfect for the season. And, honestly, it's the same idea with, the mint julep that I think we both gave a 10 out of 10 back in summer.
Yeah.
If you were to hand me one of those right now, I'm not sure how I'd feel about it.
Yeah, that's
true. So the time of year for certain
yeah.
cocktails does matter, and it is going to sway your decisions of things. So
I think you're right. I think every season we've had a 10 out of 10 cocktail because it really fits the day.
Yeah. And this is fucking phenomenal. I'm going back in. Second.
Oh, yeah. Drink it down. Down, down, down. Down into my belly. Down.
I just got a little sad setting it down. I'm not going to lie. A part of me was like, keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
But I got to make you last because I put everything away to make another one already. And now it's just pure laziness. So I got to make it last for the episode. So we're moving on. Timmy, hit us with our socials.
You can find us on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok at TripBPod, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We are the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters.
Yeah.
And you can email us at triplebpod619@gmail.com.
You're darn tootin'. All right, so we back with another edition of our Triple B Fact Check. Tim, this one is yours. So I have no idea what is even going to be talked about here, so I'm excited. What did we fuck up last week?
I don't feel like we fucked up on a lot of things. I think this is more just clarifications on things.
We're getting better at that.
I think we're watching ourselves.
I think so. Yeah, we're not as loosey goosey with what we're saying anymore.
But I definitely got a bunch of things on here. So
okay. Well, maybe not then.
So some of these came from actually last week's fact check section. So
it's a fact check section again. We're fact checking our fact checks now.
Yep.
Is this entire segment backfiring on us, Tim?
I don't think so.
We're fact checking, but then we're causing more confusion within the fact check that we then have to go back and re-fact check.
It's been fun. I've been learning a lot about what we talk about.
That is true. I enjoy it.
All right, so last week we talked about the ICUS title defended in the same night because some Survivor Series it got defended in the same night.
Yep.
And we said it's been a minute, and then you said you couldn't really find when the last time was. So I did some digging and just looked through, and it was actually SummerSlam. SummerSlam was
just this last SummerSlam.
Yeah. Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the IC title or US title, and then Breaker Zane for the IC title. And then I said
why could I not find that?
I don't know.
What the hell? That's so annoying to me now.
And then I said WrestleMania, do we count that as one night? I'm going to say no, it's not one night. It is a 2-night event. It is one event. But the title was defended on separate nights. One was done and the other. So, New Day heel runs. You thought maybe they hadn't been healed. I said, I think they debuted it as heels. But no, they debuted it as faces. But the crowd wasn't really into them. And then quickly, in 2015, they did have a heel run. And it was one of their better runs. But then after that heel run, they've just been faces since. So it was one time.
It's funny that that you said that because I actually was reading something today about that segment from Raw.
Yeah,
just this last Monday, and which I'm sure we're going to talk about here shortly. But somebody commented on it, and a little foreshadowing for you. It was like, "New Day sucks, Chance. What is this, 2015?" So it's funny that just came up too.
Yep. Dirty Dom was in the background on SmackDown, just like you said. He was talking to Nick Aldis. I didn't look up who was walking down the hallway, but I was just fact-checking that Dirty Dom was, in fact, at SmackDown. Transfer portal. Have they done anything like this before? And they have never used the term transfer portal. They've done trades, they've done like little shakeups, roster shakeups after a draft has been done, but nothing like a transfer portal. And then
because transfer portals, if you were relating it to probably the most prominent transfer portal, which is college sports,
yes,
primarily college football, I feel like is where you hear about it the most often. That's like the individual themselves can enter the transfer portal.
Yeah, I actually put that down. I was still unclear of what the transfer portal
what the
means.
parameters around it are.
And they really haven't explained it on Raw or SmackDown, but
they've just really said it, and they haven't done anything like explaining what it is. Like, I would expect there to be like all right, this is what this is, and this is how it works, and like lay it out for us.
And we've seen other superstars on both shows, and they haven't definitively said, these people came through the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, did you to kind
of go
off of Dom being backstage at SmackDown?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see who was backstage at Raw? Tiffany Stratton
Yeah.
was talking to Adam Pierce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but if it
What's
is
going
like
on?
the college football, like you were alluding to, is you put your name out there. The college you are attending puts your name in a database, and then other schools can look up who's in there and try to recruit you to there. So maybe that's what it is. Is
Yeah.
like Dom is talking to Nick Aldis and saying,
putting his name in,
"I'm putting my name in." So
which plays into the kind of wrinkles with some Judgment Day stuff. So
exactly.
getting ahead of myself, but continue.
Exact- Sporting events on Netflix. You were talking about maybe a racing one. There has been 3 total live events on sporting events on Netflix. One was called the Netflix Cup. It was not racing, but it did have Formula One drivers teaming up with PGA Tour pros and having like a golfing challenges, wacky golf challenges, is what they said. And then there was Netflix Slam, which was Rafael Nadal versus
Nadal, yeah.
Carlos Alcaraz, and that was back in March of this year. And then there was the Tyson match.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Tyson, Jake Paul.
three sporting events so far.
Okay. So there were the Formula One. That's probably where I was thinking of the racing. Missed fucking opportunity for them to not soup up golf carts.
Yeah.
And have the Formula One guys be the drivers for the PGA guys and have it be like a race to see who could finish the course first or something. Anyway.
Maybe that was. It did say, it just said wacky challenges. I didn't watch
okay.
the event, but I assumed it was like golf related
All right.
challenges. So has LA Knight been on Raw? This was more just like, because we were kind of talking like we think he's been on SmackDown.
Yeah, I thought his roster debut was
and
on SmackDown.
It was on SmackDown. He's been only SmackDown brand, but he has made appearances on Raw.
Yeah.
But
But he has been
he's not
on
been
the SmackDown
drafted or
roster,
traded to Raw ever. So
Yeah.
the Louis the 13 cognac price.
I was curious.
So
I almost
was
looked it up, but I was like, I know you're going to do this for the fact check, so I didn't. Because I wanted to hear it live.
Yeah, so
I feel like it's going to be steep.
via Total Wine website, a 50 I got 3 sizes here. 50 milliliters,
Which-
$800. A 750.
50. Hold on.
Those are like the
50
airplane
milliliters.
bottles.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's just point out here, a fifth of alcohol. This was $49 at ticket price. I got it for $39. 750 milliliters. So you're talking 50 milliliters. I don't even know what the fraction is. 50 out of 750. Is that 175th?
Yeah, right? No,
No.
no.
That's too much. Something, though. It's still a ridiculous fraction for that to be $800 for a 50 milliliter bottle.
Yep.
That's more than an airplane shot, though, right? Or
It
is that
might.
an airplane
I
shot?
feel like it is, but we might have to fact check that now.
Damn it.
750 milliliter is $4,800. And just imagine, like, this is before the Washington tax.
So you said for 700 for a fifth.
For a fifth, $4,800.
$4,800.
And then for the 1.75 milliliter, it is $9,500.
1 point
That's like the gallon size.
or the half gallon.
Yeah,
the half gallon.
yeah.
Okay. 9,800.
95.
9,500. Jesus Christ. Fuck, dude.
That's some pricey cognac right there.
We need to start distilling our own bourbon. And I was gonna say make it take 100 years to brew so we can make a lot of money, but that was a really stupid thought I just had.
Laney, well, you got a job to do.
Your grandkids have a job to do. All right.
The John Cena Kick-Ass actor movie you were talking about. You were saying
yeah.
we were talking about survival movies, and then you brought up this movie. Didn't know the actor's name or the movie. The movie,
actor is Aaron Taylor Thomas.
yes, and the movie is The Wall.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that confused with
Oh, JTT.
Yeah, JTT. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
ATT.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That is like a very close.
It really
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, and The Wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
The Wall.
Okay. Yeah.
Have not seen that movie.
You haven't?
No.
I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was solid.
The War Games advantage matches. You said you couldn't find anything, and I really couldn't find. I had to literally read about every single one that's taken place. So it was a lot of reading. There's 6 times the Faces held the advantage out of the 14 WWE versions of the War Games. So it's almost half.
Can I restate from my fact check last week? It might have been less of me not being able to find it and me not wanting to dig that deep into it.
I almost gave up.
I will be honest. I was like, all right, I'm not reading about each individual fucking advantage match. I was expecting it to pop up on Google and be like, oh yeah, this is who won. And that didn't happen. And I said, I can't find it.
No, so
That's where I
had,
That's as far as I
luckily
went.
Wikipedia broke down, because it didn't even talk about the advantage. Some of them did, but it literally was, I had to look at which superstar entered the match after the first 2 wrestled. So, and I was like,
so you literally just looked at the War Games matches and the entrance order to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay. So that would have been. I didn't even think to do that, because that probably didn't take as long then as trying to find each actual advantage match.
The only thing I had to go was, all right, was this superstar heel during that time? And for the most part, it was pretty easy to determine.
So
that.
Did you date this all the way back to WCW times, or was this just NXT?
Just through
WWE,
just from when WWE started it up again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that would have been no, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, how the fuck do you?
The claim waiver process. We were talking about.
Yep.
Can you claim someone to your practice squad and then sign them to the main roster? It's when you put a waiver in, claim in, they have to go to your active roster. They can't go to your practice
squad. Okay.
So you can demote them later on to your practice squad.
Yeah. That's I think that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Was that had to go to the active.
But if the player does clear waivers, you can sign them to your practice squad.
Yes. Yeah.
And then last week we were talking about finishers and them not being protected, and then I did say Kenny Omega's finisher is very protected, and it's only been kicked out of once. I was correct on that, but I called it the Fallen Angel. It's called the One-Winged Angel.
Gotcha. One-Winged Angel.
And only one person has kicked out of it, and the wrestler is Kota Ibushi. Some other well-protected finishers out there that have minimal kickouts is the 3D, done by the Dudley Boys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The Jackhammer.
Goldberg.
And then the punt, the Randy Orton punt.
Oh, wow.
So there was a few more on there, but it did say that they've had kickouts, but these were like the ones that were very distinct. Not many people have kicked out.
Oh, okay.
I think they said one person's kicked out, and it was the Motor City Machine Guns that kicked out of the 3D. So, fun little fact.
Oh, that would have been in Impact? Would that have been in
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
So that was the fact check. That's what I got.
So nobody's kicked out of the punt? Or the jackhammer?
No, there's a couple.
Oh, there were some.
Undertaker and Brock Lesnar were the only ones that were listed.
That had kicked out.
That kicked out of the jackhammer.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is wild. Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Shit.
That was my fact check. I thought those were pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool. I love that we're doing that because, like you said, we're just learning more and more shit about the stuff that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, that brings us to our weekly football chat. Seahawks, once again, that was the biggest matchup of the year so far, realistically. It did, it put us 2 games at the time, 2 games ahead of everybody in the league. In the division.
Yeah.
But then the Rams fended off the Bills last week to stay 1 game behind us.
What a crazy game that was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 44-42 was that finish. That
You
was
go
crazy.
from no defense to their Thursday night
I
game
know,
where
which
it was
all defense.
all
yeah.
defense.
But anyway, so Seahawks are 8-5. We're in first place in the NFC West currently. We defeated the Cardinals 30-18 in Arizona, which was a huge game. Honestly, I think the absolute biggest takeaway for me for this, and I talked about it multiple times in the first time we played Arizona, talking about this matchup, and then leading into this matchup last week's episode, we had nobody leave that game injured.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's like legitimately one of the first times we've played in Arizona in a long time where we didn't have somebody injured or somebody wasn't like that wasn't their last game they played with us.
Yeah.
Was there, or coached with
Haunted
us or
field.
something like that. Yes, we've had a lot of things. I mean, like we said, it was like almost the entirety of the Legion of Boom. That was Russ's last game. That was Pete Carroll's last game. Like all of it was because we always, for a long time, we ended with Arizona.
Yeah.
It's like we've always almost ended with Arizona or the Rams, it seems like, in
Yeah.
recent history, over the last decade or so. Anyways, this game really felt like it was like the first full 3 phases of the game kind of put together.
I would agree.
Our special teams had been really pretty fucked up for a while. We got rid of D. Williams and LaVisca Chenault Jr. after that entire just holy crap moments. We signed, I still can't remember the dude's name because he's so new.
Yeah,
We signed a new dude from, I think, the Browns leading into this game. The main reason we signed him was because he, in all of the returns that he has had in his career, he has not had a muffed kick. While his very first one he had with us, he tripped himself up and he kind of fell down. And it did look like the ball came out, but he was clearly down by contact and it was punched out after he had already been on the ground and touched, clearly. Other than that, he did a really good job. He secured the ball. He got some yardage. And biggest thing is he didn't fucking give the ball away.
Exactly.
Our offense played really fucking well in this game, especially in some of which we'll get to here in a second, but some of the facets of the offense that I specifically have kind of been shitting on.
Yep.
I will give slight, but I will give some flowers to some individuals here in a moment. I want to see it stacked though before I start giving full, credit. No turnovers.
That was awesome.
We went turnover free for. I didn't look up how long it was, so I don't want to throw out a thing. But I mean,
Don't do it.
It's been a while since we have gone turnover free fully as a full team, because it was like against the Jets, the offense didn't turn the ball over, but our special teams did.
Yeah.
Twice, right? So yeah, it's just no turnovers is a huge thing when you can win the turnover differential, because then our defense had 2 takeaways. So it's like when you win the turnover differential, historically speaking and statistically speaking, you typically win the game.
Yeah.
Not all the time, not 100%. There have definitely been games and teams that have lost even when they have won the turnover margin. But typically, you're sitting pretty to be able to do that, especially when both those takeaways were on plus side territory for us.
Yeah.
They were all in Cardinals territory.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
That was huge. Charbonnet, here's one of my mini flowers here. Charbonnet finally fucking went off.
And boy, did he.
Finally went off.
Almost 200 yards
finally,
of
and he
offense.
showed us that he does have that flash. He does have that potential to be able to carry a running game. 134 rushing yards, which like 89 of them were in the first half or something like that. 59 receiving yards for a total of 193 total scrimmage yards. It's the most rushing yards that I think that a Seattle running back has had in almost 2 years or something in a game. So it was pretty solid. It was awesome to see. It was really cool to see. That 51-yard break for the touchdown was a thing of beauty on all sides of it. Like, you see our fucking 7th round rookie guard pull and just fucking level the defensive end. Like, just fucking rode him to the ground, dude. Mm-hmm. And then you see Abe Lucas, fresh back from fucking like season-ending injury last season or whatever.
Yeah.
Pull also and pull up in the hole and get a really big block that then sprung Sharp's back. And then you see Charbonnet fucking finally get to show his speed.
Yeah. He took
because he's
off.
not known for being a fast running back at all. But he fucking showed that he does have the speed to be able to do it. So it was awesome. And I know you were excited about that because you've been a Sharps fan.
I have. It was awesome.
And it's not that I haven't been a Sharps fan. I just haven't
seen anything from
exactly. I haven't seen enough to be able to say like, oh, he needs more touches. When it's like, no, our fucking offensive line needs to block for K9. That's our thing. Because here's my thing. And until Sharps stacks performances, which he's gonna get another shot tomorrow.
Yep.
Because K9 is doubtful. So he's probably going to get another shot tomorrow to do it, and that'd be awesome. But I would have really loved to see what Ken Walker could have done in that game with the offensive line blocking like that.
Yeah.
Because I would have been willing to bet K9 puts up 200 yards rushing if our offensive line's blocking like that. Kenneth Walker has been hit in the backfield on over 50% of his rushing attempts. If our offensive line blocks the way they did last week for K9, because K9 is head and shoulders a better running back than Zach Charbonnet is.
Yeah.
I don't know if most people would even argue that. He just is. That's why he's been the number one back. And it's because the majority of the yards that Walker is getting when he's on the field is after he's been hit in the backfield.
Yeah, true.
So it's like he is making all of the yards. He's making everything happen on his own. Part of that might also be on him not being patient enough. Zach Charbonnet showed a lot of patience in this game in Arizona. And so, yeah, I don't know. But like I said, until he stacks it, it was a fucking awesome game. Happy for him. I'm really happy that worked out the way it did for multiple reasons. But now I'm hoping he could do it again tomorrow night against the Packers.
Yeah.
Offensive line had a great game, like I was just alluding to. They gave up no sacks. I think Geno Smith was only hit twice, like maybe pressured 5 times, and he only was hit 2 times in the game. Like, it's one of the cleanest games Geno's ever had in a Seahawks, maybe in his career, but in a Seahawks uniform, I think that's pretty close. That's pretty safe to say. I think it's probably the cleanest game he's played because of the offensive line.
Yeah.
JSN had another huge game, 82 yards on 5 catches. It's coming pretty close to like he's solidifying himself as the number one target for Geno for the Seahawks offense. And a cool thing kind of off track here it's on the same track, but it's just off the actual talk here that we have. I read an article about like media. They're always trying to fucking flub up some fucking drama, right? And constantly people are like coming at DK about the idea of like, oh, how's it feel that JSN's passing you up on the depth chart or in targets and in receptions and stuff? And Metcalf this whole time has been like, dude, I'm like a proud older brother. I'm so happy for him right now. Like, one thing I love about Metcalf is he is, and this is me saying this with also knowing about like some of the kind of tantrum things he has thrown on the sidelines. But I was never really against him doing that in those situations because a lot of the times I was like, yeah, he has a fucking point. Throw his ass the ball. Yeah. Right? He is a team guy. He wants to win. Yeah. And if he can draw fucking double or triple team or triple coverage to open up JSN to go fucking put yards up and score to win the game, he is going to do that, and he's going to do it happily. Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing. Like that's a really huge testament to his character on the field. So
was that, I didn't read the article, but with like the headline or whatever, I like to block or something, because I think I saw something where he said
that was the same article, but it was probably talking about the same interview.
Yeah,
because he says shit like that. He loves blocking.
Yeah,
you throw fucking receiver screen. He loves just manhandling fucking corners because he can, and he'll truck somebody. Like he doesn't care. Yeah, and so he's an all around team dude.
Yeah.
And I think it's very obvious and clear that this culture that Mike Macdonald is starting to that he wants to build and the way he wants this team to play took a while. I don't think it necessarily took a while for the culture to necessarily fully start to flourish. I think the culture idea has been there, and I feel like everyone for the most part has understood it. However, I think it took a while for his schemes to start playing out on the defensive side of the ball specifically. And that was what was causing some tension and friction between people.
Yeah.
Because everyone's still learning, right?
Yeah.
It's still new. So it's like, you think you understand it, how you're understanding it, and you're doing what you think you're supposed to be doing, and I'm doing the same thing. But when those two things aren't cohesive, we both think we're each other is wrong.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So until those things start to get ironed out, which over the last few fucking weeks they have been getting ironed out, we haven't, like, they're playing loose, they're playing, having fun. You can see it on all their faces. Like, there's no fucking tension in the locker room. Nobody's fighting on the sideline anymore. Like, yeah, I think it's just an all around, like, that's a culture thing that Mike McDonald's building, and everyone's buying in.
Yeah.
And you can see it.
Yeah.
Another flower I'm going to give here, singular flower, because this is the one definitely. Charbonnet needs to stack shit. Grubb has to stack fucking games now here towards the end of the season. He called a great fucking game. It was one of the best offensively called games that we have seen from a Seahawks OC in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going back to fucking Darrell Bevel years, potentially. Like, it's been a long time since we have seen a game called just seemed this consistent, that seemed this just like, this is what we're going to do, fucking stop us type of play calling, and also creative. It wasn't just your typical shit. Like, the Charbonnet's first score, that was fucking awesome. Down on the goal line, especially with our short yardage issues that we've had over the last 2 months. That was fucking great to see. So I was really happy to see that. I'll be the first person to say, like, I've been shitting on Grubb now for the last few weeks, because there have been clear issues that have consistently been happening that just haven't seemed like there's been any, like, changes made or adjustments or anything. It's just like, fuck, man, like, you got to do something. If Grubb can stack games like this through these next 4 weeks and potentially into the playoffs, then I will be eating my words from earlier in the season happily, and I will be riding with him into the offseason.
Yeah.
Because just, last week and the week before, I was like, if this shit keeps happening, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Grubb's gone in the offseason. Like, one and done type of thing, because that's the type of season he was putting together as an OC. It was a potential one and done thing. A game like last Sunday, you now start to stack those. Now you're starting to show those adjustments as a new offensive play caller in the league, coming from college, that you can make adjustments. And yeah, it took some time and it took some growth, but now you're at that spot. I think you might be saving your own job there. So
Agreed.
We are now in the driver's seat of the NFC West. Literally, we hold the keys to our own future here.
Destiny.
Yeah. If we win games, we win the division. That's where we're at right now. If we win out, we win the division. There's nothing anyone else can do about it if we win out.
I just got a few things to. I mean, you said a lot of what I was thinking, but but again, big fan of Charbonnet, and I was texting you, Charbonnet, and it was really good.
Well, as I texted you first, I said, "All right, Sharps is having a fucking game. 100%. I'm not an idiot. I'm not blind. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. He had a fucking beast of a game. So
it
was awesome.
It felt like the offensive game plan was exactly what we wanted to do, and they couldn't stop us at all. They had a few stops, obviously.
Yeah.
But it just felt like everything we were doing was working. Budda Baker, though, man, is a fucking beast.
Dude, Budda Baker's so fucking
Did
good.
you see his kip up that he did?
Yeah.
Crazy
so
beast.
He is. I've always liked Budda Baker.
Yeah.
I've always liked Budda.
He is.
Coming out of college, like everything, he was one that I hoped we were going to draft. I've always liked Budda Baker.
And then I just got to, again, give JSN his flowers. It's just been so much fun to watch him play. It's just game after game. It's just, He's about to cross 1,000 yards for the season already.
Yeah.
So that's been exciting. And then overall, the team feels almost like that feeling in 2012, the year before we went to the Super Bowl. It just feels like the team is having fun. We know they're on the verge of greatness, and we might be on that verge. It's these next few weeks is going to be telling of.
Yep, for sure. These next two games, like tomorrow night's game, which we'll talk about here in a second, and the next week's game, those are going to be, because the fact of the matter is we have yet to, we don't have a win. Well, we have one win against a team that has a record above 500 right now. So of our 8 games, it was the first time we played the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Right? They were 6-5 or whatever. Or maybe 6-4. Yeah, they were 6-4 when we played them. So the next 2 games are going to be a huge tell to be like, all right, can we fucking compete with the 2 of the fucking dogs in the NFC?
Yeah.
And if we win one of the 2, right there is like, all right, let's fucking roll. Especially if say we do win, say we do drop one of them. I mean, even, God forbid, say we drop both, but they're tight games and we like play them well, and it's just like a field goal that separates us at the end or whatever, you know. That's like, all right. Even if we were to drop both, there's a lot of other shit that could happen in the league that could still put us in position to potentially still win the division, if not still maybe make the playoffs. So we're sitting in a good spot right now. We got the Packers tomorrow night. They're 9-4.
I got anxiety about it, like hardcore. Like
too.
They keep playing the commercials for it. It feels like a big matchup, and it is a big matchup. It just, I'm very nervous. I definitely think we can win it, especially with the way we've been playing.
Yeah.
But it's the Packers, and
I know. These games are always
they're
fucking
just
interesting for
they're
sure.
very interesting. There's never not an interesting game with them. So
I read an interesting stat that was the home in the that's one. We didn't have like a running tally. In the last 10 matchups between the Packers and the Seahawks, the home team has won.
Okay.
All 10. Like each of the last 10, the home team has won.
Wow.
So that obviously doesn't mean anything. Us playing at home has not been the same as it has in years past this year. But we also weren't playing the best football earlier in the year when we had been playing most of these home games. So we'll see. I'm stoked for this game. I'm really excited for it. I think it is truly like, because we're going to go into this game, whether we're, the underdogs or we're the favorites to win. I don't know what
we are the
underdogs.
Okay.
Okay. So the Packers are projected to win. I've read a bunch of articles that are like NFL analysts picking games this weekend and stuff, and like nobody's picked us. And I'm fine with that.
Me too.
Because this team, where they're at, just kind of like what you were talking about, we have there's feelings of a decade ago.
Yeah.
12 years ago. And with how we've been playing, give us that chip. Give us that chip on our shoulder. Let them go out, shock the world, and just be like, oh, hey, by the way, we're fucking here. Because nobody's talking about the fact that Seattle's one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the fact that Seattle has won 4 straight. Nobody's talking about the fact that over the last 4 games, Seattle has the number 2 defense in the NFL. In multiple, like that's just like all of the stats combined to average it out. We're the number 2 defense, but we're in the top 5 in almost so many of the statistical categories for defense.
I think I don't know what the game has been, like how many games, but we are the number 1 defense right now for a certain set period of time now.
Like overall defense?
Overall defense,
okay, shit. Sweet. So, it's probably over the last 4 then.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so there's a shift happening. There's a lot of really good things happening on the Seahawks side. And say these next 4 games don't go the way we want them to go and we lose some close games, we're fucking building something.
Yeah.
Regardless, this season is already, we're fucking 8-5 right now. We have gone 3 games past what anyone predicted we would win right now. Mm-hmm. So nobody thought that we were going to win more than 5 games this year. And we're 8-5 and in first place in the NFC West going into the final 4 weeks of the season. So regardless of how it ends, this has been a successful year for McDonald's first year. And hopefully they can just keep it rolling.
Hell yeah, man. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Go Hawks.
Timmy,
That brings
us
us to
belts. Hell yeah. And with bringing us to belts, my dear Timothy, what do you want to talk about?
Boy, I want to talk about Gunther. I want to talk about Finn. I want to talk about Priest. What a opening to Raw. That was a explosive. Gunther laying down truths, Finn coming out throwing down truths, and then Priest just throwing down hands.
Yeah,
it was
getting hands thrown.
Yes, it was a fun opening. I like that Finn is still, while being in this feud, driving a wedge with Judgment Day, because he did throw in, you're giving undeserving Dirty Dom a chance for the...
And did you see the side eye? Did you see the side eye from Dom when he said that?
Yep.
It was perfect.
So I like that wedge is still being drawn, even if he's thrown into this feud. I like the jabs at Finn about him being the first Universal Champ for a night, and then just been a nobody since. So it was just a great opening. The match is going to be toasted.
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about, was just the fact that Finn kind of weaseled his way into this, but in a very well done way to make himself in that title picture, and then Priest just like not being done with everything in general, and the fact that Finn has cost him 2 championships now. Yeah, like cost him his title the first time, and then cost him the chance to recapture it the second time, and then like it was just poetic almost that Pierce made it a triple threat match. So, because it's just like, Priest should be in that match as well, and the match is gonna be awesome. I'm stoked for it for sure. I want to talk about the women's IC triple threat match. So the Lyra, Zelina, and Ivy Nile. Mm-hmm. It was a fucking awesome match. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think they're 3 of the best, I would say, mid-card women's division superstars on Raw. Yeah. They might be the 3 best mid-card, right? Which is where I have an issue with this. Why the fuck do you have all 3 of them in the same match? The women's mid-card division on Raw is uberly weak. It is super weak. It doesn't hold a candle to SmackDown's. Like, we had some really solid triple threat matches for the U.S. tournament for the women's division on SmackDown, because their roster can hold that. Yep. I don't understand why in the first round of the IC... you have literally the 3 who honestly probably, like, this should have been the finals for the IC title, should have been between these 3 women, potentially. I'd have to completely look at the other, but I mean, I'm looking at I know one of the matches has Kaden, one of the matches has Katana, and I'm like, well, neither of them are gonna fucking, like, nobody wants that. So I just don't understand that. That's why I'm like, I'm here for Lyra winning that match, but why does it have to come at the at the expense of now costing Zelina and Ivy both an opportunity to continue to push themselves as well? Why does that have to happen in the first round? That doesn't make sense to me. Because I said when they were announcing the U.S., why the fuck is Zelina Vega not in it? And you were like, well, because she's on Raw. And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because I was like, Zelina Vega should be in a title picture like this type of thing. And it's like, yeah, cool, she's in that, but you have her in it against, like, in the worst situation where it's like, I want all three of those women to win those qualifying matches to move on to the next round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, I got qualms about this. This is what I was alluding to in there.
Oh, is it?
I'm very heated up about this.
Yeah.
The IC tournament on Raw is a mess, I think. You have Dakota Kai, one of your already people to advance, go into a match with Liv and lose because of interference from PFC. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are they even out there?
I know.
I don't
This
get
whole long-running feud that PFC has with Damage Control
Is a
makes
joke.
no fucking sense.
They've lost over and over.
every fucking time, almost to every single one of them, and Damage Control isn't even really acknowledging that they exist.
No.
And most of them are in another storyline now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck?
I just don't get why Dakota Kai needed to lose there. That makes her weak looking. I know she was distracted, but it still makes her look weak in this tournament.
But it's also like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why was that not Kairi Sane?
Yeah. No,
Put Kairi Sane in that match, because the whole point of that match was it's Liv versus Io Sky at Saturday Night's main event.
Yeah.
Right? So she's taking on somebody from...
Damage Control, yeah.
Yeah, from Io's stable.
100%.
So now why does it have to be Dakota Kai, who just won a qualifying match for the IC? Exactly. It just doesn't, like, why are you now squashing her when she just won a match that should be propping her?
Yeah.
Put Kairi Sane in it.
Make her lose.
Not doing anything right now. She's not in any form of any picture.
Nope.
So, yeah.
And then I agree with you about the three being in one match. They should have spread the love, but I think Zelina deserved the win on this one. Lyra is still young. She can get a win later on. She's already been in the finals of the Queen of the Ring this year. Like, it wouldn't have hurt her to lose here and let Zelina win. I think Zelina is deserving. Probably should have won the whole tournament on the Raw side of things.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's time to revamp the Raw's women's roster and use this transfer portal for some good and get some NXT women up there, because it's pretty weak if you're having three of your stronger mid people in one match on there. And so I was a little heated about that.
Well, especially when you look at the other matches.
Yeah.
That's the thing where I think it bothers me the most, is like, we had the one at the Raw that we were at where Dakota Kai won. Who was that? Who was in that?
Shayna
again?
Baszler was in it, and then not Katana. No, it's the Kaden. No, Katana.
I think it was Katana. Yeah, I think it was Katana was in that one.
I forget their names.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get
Kaden
it
and Carter.
Too. So it's like, why not have like one of those three that we just talked about in that match instead?
Yeah,
and have them win that.
Yep.
Right? Or if you if you're really trying to push Dakota Kai in this direction or in this situation, then look at the other two that you still have and just spread those three out. There's no reason for those three to be in that match together in the first round of the tournament.
100%. I was peeved at that part of it.
It's like, you could have easily had it be like Lyra versus Ivy in the semis on one side, and then like Dakota versus Zelina on the other side, and then you could have brought it to Zelina versus Lyra in the finals, and that would have been a fucking banger of a match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Move on.
The White Six losing. Do you think it was the right call or wrong call? I'll let you know how I feel.
I don't like it.
You don't like? I think it's the right call, just so we can see, because I don't think the feud's over. I want to see how the White Six bounce back and what they'll do now.
Yeah.
For against them. At first, I didn't like it, but then I just sat on it, thought about it a little longer. I mean, it just sucks though, because the White Six are just an attraction right now. You don't see them often, and then when you do, they lost. So you're trying to build them up and they lose. Yeah. But there was a wrinkle in it, as Paul Ellering, was in the mix of this. So
who? I just fucking put all the puzzle pieces together as to who that motherfucker is.
You didn't know who it was?
It took me. I was like, I know the name, and then I read an article. It was like Hall of Famer, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, is that why I know his name? And I started. I was like, motherfucker, he was the guy. He was fucking Legion of Doom's fucking. Yep. He was LOD's goddamn manager. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, he looks nothing like he did then. So holy shit. Yeah, that's crazy. So
yeah, no, I mean,
I at least the loss happened in the way that it happened. I'll put it that way. Like if it would have just been a clean loss, it would have been like, what the fuck are we doing here? Mm-hmm. You're like, it's gonna end up ruining the entirety of what the Wyatt Six is.
Yeah.
If you have them take a clean loss there, I think.
Yeah.
I think that just hurts them so much. That's two. But I still, I don't know. I think my real issue with it is just the whole. I'm kind of just still over Final Testament and Karrion Kross, like just all of it. I'm just like, okay. I'm just annoyed when they're on the screen. To be completely honest, there's not a whole lot of. There's not a whole lot of anything good outside of what the Wyatt Six is doing with them.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like when they're just on the screen together, I'm just like, oh my god. Like the whole, like when Nikki Cross attacked Scarlett in the locker room and then he goes in after her and she freaks out. I was just like, this is so fucking dumb. Like I'm so fucking annoyed with this.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I just don't like them. And
gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's my main issue with having the Wyatt Six lose there. And especially I think having it be Uncle Howdy taking the L too, I think is another part of.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, like have it be Gacy or.
You got three other guys that could
Rowan,
take a loss,
right? Like,
yeah.
You could have them all do it. It doesn't need to be Uncle Howdy. So,
I agree.
Yeah. Sticking on Raw still. Rhea Raquel, the Anything Goes match to end, I thought was a really strong close to Raw. Mm-hmm. I actually thought it was a really good match, and I'm not a huge Raquel Rodriguez fan, but I thought the match was good. Again, most of that credit probably goes to the fact that Rhea Ripley is one of the best female performers to ever do it.
Yeah.
But I thought the main reason I put this on here was because I thought the closing segment, like the closing image that you saw in the camera angle of how it was like down low, and they both, Io and Rhea, both reached down and grabbed the title and like both lifted it up together and then were like sitting there looking down but kind of looking at each other, like heads tilted down towards the belt but eyes at each other. I just thought it was a really cool cinematic type of moment to close the show. But yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't. Raquel definitely had some botches in that match.
Absolutely, that's to be expected.
So Rhea definitely carried her.
But that's what.
But I think that match allows some botches to have. It's a lot going on during the match, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah. No, I thought
a lot more elements than just a straight singles match.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely caught that at the end as well, which was a really cool face off holding the title. I'm going to stay on Raw as well. CM Punk, Seth feud. I was excited for it when Punk first started to come back. I thought that's what was going to be the big thing, and I think it was planned until CM Punk's injury. But this night really, I think, did some good building. It feels like it's that next big feud for CM Punk, like the Drew McIntyre one. I didn't like that it was a cool line, but I don't like that CM Punk's called Seth a second stringer, because Seth really has carried the WWE through a lot of dark times, and he's an amazing talent. Like like CM Punk is good, but he's no Seth Rollins either. So
Seth is, and I think we've said this before on the show. Seth is legitimately like the current age Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah,
in the ring, he is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing with a lot of these feuds now, and we talked about it with KO, Cody, where both sides are right. Like, both sides feel like they're right. CM Punk has beef, and I see where he's coming from. I see where Seth is coming from. Mm-hmm. I think of this night, I think Seth won the night of promos. CM Punk said it himself. Without him, WWE wheel was going to move on in his pipe pipe bomb promo. He's like, I'm just a spoke on the wheel, and I know when I'm gone, this place is going to keep going. But I like how Seth was like, you were disparaging this company. You were trying to ruin this company while you were gone and whatnot. So I give Seth the edge of the night. I like where it's going. It's going to be a good feud for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not now that Punk McIntyre's over, I'm good with this now continuing to blossom into something that will no doubt end up being really fucking cool. So I just didn't want Seth involved in all these other random. I didn't want, because Seth's too good to just be thrown into something.
Yeah,
like he needs his own fucking things to push forward because he's good enough to be able to do that, and this feels like that's what this is turning into now. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump to SmackDown.
Okay.
I think Naomi attacked Jade.
You think Naomi did? I think Bianca did.
Oh,
Bianca's been this long time face, and I think she's gonna go heel. And
that's an interesting one. Okay,
I definitely think it was Bianca.
I'm thinking it's Naomi because
she's
Naomi
filling it right in.
Yeah, and it feels like the perfect opportunity for her to kind of weasel herself into now being tag team champion, right? Because all this is about to tell Bianca, like, you're gonna have to drop the titles because Jade's not clear. But who is? Yeah, that's 4. But who's right there to save the day? Naomi, who speaks up real quick and jumps at the fucking opportunity to be like, oh, if Bianca needs a tag partner, I'll do it. I'll step in. I'll defend the titles with her.
I know Nick Aldis said he has to check with people, but I do have qualms that some tag teams have been able to switch a partner out because of injury, and some have not, and so some have had to relinquish it.
Or just switch it up just because you're the enforcer and I don't need you defending tag titles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't like how the rule for tag teams work, because it makes one rule works for one team, but it doesn't for the other. But I definitely, I'm like, it's so obvious that it could be Naomi, but I also think it's Bianca. I think it's
you said that and I was like, oh, that's also good. I think either way is solid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going on to Drew McIntyre attacking Jimmy. I think this further solidifies my point from last week that he is a part of this He-Man Roman hater. He is not attacking people teaming with CM Punk. It's more who was teaming up with Roman. And that's why he attacked Sami Zayn. That's why he attacked Jimmy and Jay. So
I still feel like McIntyre's whole thing is more geared toward CM Punk.
I don't think so.
I mean, I definitely could see where you're coming from and what you're thinking with it. Yeah. I just feel like it's like he just came back from ending the feud with CM Punk.
True, and it does fit.
A fucking straight blood feud too. So.
But I think the way he was talking about in his little promo on Raw was he was talking about the bloodline. Everyone went back to Roman after everything that he's done, So that's what leads me to believe that his focus is on the Roman side of things.
Okay.
So just wanted to say, put a feather in my cap. Yeah. I feel like
you might be onto something there. I have a qualm.
Okay.
Why? I don't understand the point in squashing Mello.
Oh, yeah. I did not like that.
I don't understand that. It makes no sense. Why do you have Carmelo Hayes after the fucking run that he had been on with Andrade, with LA Knight, and those kind of pushes he was getting with the US, and the fucking clinics that they were putting on in the ring altogether, and the TV time that he was getting and everything, and now all of a sudden he's relegated to getting squashed by Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Who is... I'm sorry, when he's used right, I love Braun Strowman, but he's been useless almost entirely since he's returned to the WWE. He has not done anything. He's been in no legitimate storyline outside of Meat Fest with Bronson Reed, And that's like legitimately the only legit thing he's done. Other than that, we've seen a ton of him chasing smaller wrestlers around arenas.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck's why are you having Braun Strowman just show up on SmackDown randomly all of a sudden to just literally squash Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah.
You just killed any and all momentum that Carmelo Hayes has built for himself.
Yeah.
He is now no longer looked at as a legitimate, like a realistic contender for anything now.
Yeah, I agree. You have a show that has Apollo Crews coming out towards the main event. Squash him.
Yeah.
He's not literally doing nothing.
Exactly.
He could get squashed.
So, it doesn't make any sense to me. It pisses me off.
I think I was reading a lot of comments just, well, there goes Carmelo's push.
What would have been really fucking dope would have been if the Bloodline, if there would have ended up being, again, this triple feud between Melo, LA Knight, and Andrade happening last week. And the Bloodline attacked all three of them.
Yeah.
And then you see those three who have been in this like bitter feud for this last couple months now team up to work together against the Bloodline. That would have been fucking good TV. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But no, we get fucking Apollo Crews because he got kicked in the face walking through security.
Yep.
Like, you should have been kicked in the face the second you tried to board the plane to come to the show. Like, what the fuck are you even doing here? So, yeah, I was actually, like, mad.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck is the point of this?
Yeah. My last of the 5 is Roman Solo challenge. That promo was pretty awesome. I like the different kind of vignette promos going on that they're doing, and the Roman one definitely was awesome. And looks like that's set for the Netflix debut on Raw. So it's just interesting.
I know. We kind of talked about this earlier.
But it's just interesting that, like you said, that's probably going to be the main event unless some other big matches get announced.
Two of the biggest SmackDown superstars are going to probably main event the Raw debut on Netflix.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting, but...
This is that next chapter in this feud of the OG versus new Bloodline, and I'm just really excited to see, because this is going to be that next what's going to happen, because there's something big coming, obviously. There's got to be a culmination, and I don't think that's at Netflix debut.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't think that's the culmination at all. I think this is just going to be like the next step to, or like, maybe not step, but more of like the next
launching point for something.
Yeah, or like the next stone to fall.
Yeah,
right. In whatever we're going to get, that will be the culmination and conclusion of this. But I think this has to happen, because if this didn't happen, then, because how many times now since Roman returned have we seen the situations where, like, we get these battles or we get these brawls or whatever, and the Ulafala is laying on the ground and Roman doesn't grab it?
Yeah.
He can simply just fucking grab it and put it back on and then walk away, and he's fucking, he hasn't Tribal Chief again.
Yeah.
Right? And this hasn't happened. And there's been some questions to be like, what is going on with the Ulafala? Like, that was the first thing we said while we were in the crowd at War Games after they won. We're like, he still doesn't have the Ulafala.
Yep.
So, like, yeah, they lost the one match, then they won this match, but, like, the Ulafala, he's still not Tribal Chief. Like, there's still this, it's not like this was for all of the marbles. So, yeah, there is this next thing, and I do like the whole, let's leave the tribes on the sideline, you versus me, one-on-one for the Ulafala, like, Tribal Chief versus Tribal Chief for ultimate acknowledgement.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, cool. And I think this, because January, that is, like, the road to WrestleMania now.
Yep.
Right? I know the Royal Rumble's technically, like, the start of the road to WrestleMania, but once you get to January, you can start to build storylines towards it.
Yeah, we're in the coasting phase right now of the year.
And so I think this could potentially be where we might see a puppet master come to fruition.
For the love of God, just happen, all right.
I mean, if you think for a goddamn second that The Rock's not going to be at the Raw debut on Netflix,
He's got to be. He's got to be.
Come the fuck on.
I don't know.
He's
We've
on
been
the board of
saying it
TKO,
over
like,
and
he's
over.
gonna fucking be there. If he's not there for that, I will be fucking utterly shocked.
Me too.
So, and what a better opportunity for him to make his presence felt than tribal combat
Yep.
for the Ulafala. So,
I agree.
yeah.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Banger of the week. I didn't even write one down yet. I'm gonna make this. I'm not make it up on the spot, but I'm just gonna say mine on the
All
spot.
right.
So I'm gonna let you go first, though.
All right. Mine is New Day generating so much heat. Especially, and I texted you because you were like, man, this crowd is very quiet this whole night. And I was like, just you wait. They didn't have, I mean, they were trying to say stuff, but the crowd was not having any of it. It's just the little things they did at our Raw, generating that much heat and not even getting to say a word and then just walking out. It was just awesome to see. It was
cool.
really cool to see.
Yeah, it was cool. Especially because, like, I had texted you when I was watching Raw, and I was like, this crowd is fucking terrible. And they were. Like, they were really bad for almost the entirety of Raw outside of that segment.
Yeah.
Even in the other parts after that, they were not very loud. It was just like a type of sound. It was just like, what is going on? Like, everything was so quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were fucking outrageous for that. So yeah. It was crazy. I'm gonna stick on Raw, I think, for mine, and we actually talked about this a little bit earlier as well. But I'm going with Dakota Kai taking Oblivion.
Yeah.
As my banger of the week, and this is well documented on our show that neither of us are a fan of that move.
Nope.
And I think the main reason for it is because of how poorly the opponent usually takes it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not usually very good.
Yeah.
I don't know why it is so hard for other people to take the move, because the move can actually, like, the move is set up nicely very often too. Like Liv can jump into it kind of out of nowhere at certain points, right? Mm-hmm. Like the one she hit on Rhea, as like Rhea was like getting out of the ring.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that one. Like, Rhea was like half in the ring and then took it fucking beautifully. But Dakota Kai taking it, she's like the first person really that we have seen take it super fucking clean. That's not Rhea Ripley.
Exactly.
Right? Because, like, for the longest time, Rhea has held the title of, to our knowledge, the only fucking person apparently alive that knows how to take the fucking Oblivion finisher. And Dakota Kai just fucking stepped up her game and said, let me show you. Rhea's not the only one. So I liked it, especially for it being somebody like Dakota Kai, who is, I would argue, it's probably kind of an overlooked talent.
Yeah.
You know, she has been probably the lesser paid attention to Damage Control member for most of their run. So it was cool. It was cool.
I still think she needs a new finisher. Not enough people can take it. So
I agree.
So
100%. I do agree with that.
But no, I like it.
I still think that I still don't know what the fuck it's called. Because we've only seen her hit it like twice, and it was like both times it was on fucking Nia Jax of all people to hit that little fucking like twisty roll, like almost like a sunset flip, but thing, little flippy.
I think it's because there's two other. Zelina uses the move, and then
same move.
Yeah. And then Roxanne Perez on NXT uses that move. So
when I saw Liv do it the first time, I was like, I've never seen that one before. So shit. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that.
All right.
Timmy, Belt's question of the week. I posed this. I just wanted to kind of throw out. We haven't talked really about top rope maneuvers, or really, for the most part, anything top rope-ish.
Yeah.
In our run on this so far. So I want to throw it out. I want you to rank your top 5 top rope maneuvers.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a finisher. Mm-hmm. Just be a top rope maneuver.
Yeah.
And we'll list them from 5
to
1, back and forth,
back
like
and
we
forth.
always do.
All right, so number 5 for me is the Lolita Carana the Lita Hurricanrana,
yeah.
the jumping off the top rope into Hurricanrana. I love that move.
She always did that so fucking well too. It was always
Did
so
it to the
clean.
men, did it to the women.
Yeah,
It
didn't matter.
didn't matter.
Sometimes she'd try it and she'd get caught and get put through a fucking table.
Yes, she did.
God damn. Lita was a badass.
Awesome move for sure.
All right. My number 5, and I think it's more for nostalgia's sake than the actual move itself, but I'm going with the ooh yeah, big elbow off the top turnbuckle. Just because it was one of those moves like Jake the Snake's DDT or Hulk Hogan's leg drop that it was like not a devastating maneuver by any means, but god damn it if it didn't feel powerful when he was hitting that shit. You know what I mean? Like, for real. It was like, it's not a crazy move. It's a very basic move. It's definitely not a finishing move by any means. It's just a fucking elbow off the top rope. But it put motherfuckers away.
Yeah.
And just Macho Man up on the top rope just doing his whole thing. And jumps and fucking leaps too. I think that was the beautiful part about it, was how high he would get to hit just an elbow drop. Was, I don't know, it was just a thing of beauty. It was gorgeous. So I've always had a place in my heart for that move.
I like it. Number 4 for me, the 5-star frog splash. I love how high he gets. He's like going chest first, into the guy and giving it all. It's devastating. Love the move. And I just love how most times it wasn't just a straight on, like he had to turn midair and then hit the move. Yeah. So love that move.
Absolutely. Number 4 for me, I went with the walk the plank.
Okay.
At that point when Paul Burchill. I've every time we've talked about him, I've thought Paul London. Almost every time that's the name they go, no, it's not him. It's not him. Every time, and like at that point when Paul Burchill was hitting that, I don't feel like we really saw that move a lot.
No, not
before that or during that time. We're like, now we see that same move because it's the
Spanish fly,
right? Yeah. We see it far more often now, but even with it being far more often, it's still like it looks like it's a badass move, and it looks like a devastating maneuver when it is hit.
Yeah.
But so for Paul Burchill, and when he was dressed like the fucking pirate and was walk the plank up on the top rope, and he'd hit the fucking, it was just a thing of beauty.
It was.
It really was.
I
love that move.
All right, number 3 for me is Kane's flying clothesline.
No shit.
Huge guy doing a flying clothesline, and he just flew through the air and hit it. Like it was awesome, man. It looked devastating. So I love his flying clothesline.
Yeah. All right. My number 3, and this might surprise you, the Swanton Bomb.
Yeah, it does surprise
that
me.
It's at 3 and not higher. Is that what you're surprised by? Yeah, that's what I kind of figured it would. But yeah, like, I mean, it's definitely top 3. I think Jeff's, and it's not just a senton, not just a suicide dive or whatever you want to call it, but like Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb was a thing of beauty that not a single person before or since has replicated.
Mm-hmm. He can't even replicate.
He can't even fucking. And Matt calls it the crouton. No, because he lands with his full weight on top of the person.
Poor guys.
Which I feel like to a point is like almost worse for Jeff. But anyways, but still, like Jeff Hardy's back when Swanton Bomb was a fucking thing of beauty.
Yeah. All right, number 2 for me is just. You already talked about it, but I love the elbow drop, and I was thinking more Test's elbow drop. Okay. He's a big guy too, jumping across the ring doing it, and I think it is devastating. I mean, if we can have the people's elbow finish matches, I think a top rope elbow drop is way more devastating. So
I agree with you. Let me rephrase. I don't think an elbow drop in general is a super devastating seeming maneuver. But
to your point,
yes,
I love Macho Man's. I like everyone that kind of mimics what he does nowadays.
LA Knights.
Yeah, LA Knights.
The fucking double jump to hit it. I love that.
But I don't
not like them. I want to just point that out. I don't not like them.
No, I get it. You put it on your top 5.
Yeah.
So, but I have mine really high up. Every creative wrestler, I had the elbow drop on because I love that move.
All right. Number 2 for me, I'm going with the 5-star frog splash here.
All right.
Is number 2, and it's for most of the same reasons you said. It's just higher up on my list. I fucking loved RVD's frog splash. And I think it was the episode we had Nathan on. I had talked about Montez Ford's frog splash that I was like, it might actually be cleaner.
He gets way higher than
He's
RVD.
So high in the air. But RVD's landing of it, and you alluded to that as well, I think is where he takes the cake.
Yeah.
Fuck me, man. Yeah, that's like 6 now. He would do the frog splash where he would jump, he'd be out, he'd be in, and he would fully stretch back out. Or I don't feel like most of the time when you see anyone else do the frog splash, they're not hitting the full fucking extension back out. Mm-hmm. They hit out, they come in, and then it's more like right here. It's like hitting crossbody, right? You're like, RVD, like you said, he was landing fucking chest first onto people. Like, I feel like when people were taking RVD's frog splash, it was like they're bracing for this impact because they know he's putting everything into it. Yeah. Type of thing, where I don't feel like you necessarily feel that way with other people's frog splashes. Yeah. So, that's...
No, I fully agree.
And again, nostalgic, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the shirt. I wore it to fucking Survivor Series.
Yeah. RVD.
Fucking beautiful.
Number 1 for me is the Swanton Bomb. It's just...
There you go.
It's just... The move is beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy. Love Jeff Hardy. And it's just the first kind of flip that I tried doing, like on a trampoline. And many hurt necks trying to wait to the last second to flip around and everything. But, I just love the Swanton Bomb. It's just so synonymous with Jeff, and I love everything that Jeff did in the ring. So, yeah.
My number 1 is one we have not said yet.
Okay.
It's the Shooting Star Press.
I was thinking about having it on my list.
Specifically, Evan Bourne's Shooting Star Press, followed by Billy Kidman's Shooting Star Press. But Evan Bourne's Shooting Star Press is similar to like Montez Ford's frog splash. Evan Bourne got so fucking high with it. He got so high, he could get high and hit it out a little bit too. And his ability to then also take and sell counters out of the RKO, out of the Shooting Star Press, is one of the best RKOs in the history of the world. It was just so fucking good. But anyways, I love that move. I think the move itself is, you can have all these, twisty, turny moves. Like John Morrison used to hit the
Starship Overdrive or something like that.
Which, was a fucking crazy flipping, twisting moonsault, fucking whatever you call it, senton, whatever the fuck. And like those things are crazy athletic, insane, but there's something that just almost looks even more unnatural to be able to do, is moving one direction while flipping the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're jumping forward but flipping backwards, and it's just, I don't know. I've always just loved that move. How many times I've hit because it's a gainer, right? Yeah. That's like the name of that movement in the skate world, at least. Yeah. How many times I've hit a gainer off of like a rock jumping into water or something, just because I'm like, I fucking love that. Mm-hmm. It's the same idea with doing swantons or I'd hit fucking Shooting Star Presses on trampolines too. Like, same stuff. So yeah, I love that move.
That was a good question. I like looking through all those moves. So.
Yeah, for sure. Timmy, this now brings us to Blockbusters. I don't know. I started and I was like, I feel like I just have to hold it now. I don't feel like I can't. Mama ain't raised no bitch, you know. If I go till I pass out, I go till I pass out. All right. We kind of got a jam-packed Blockbusters section here. We got quite a few new things to talk about.
Yeah, man.
I loaded us up.
Yeah, you did.
I put everything on. I think you
Yes.
didn't. You didn't.
No.
Add, you didn't add anything.
I didn't want to.
'Cause by the time you looked at it, I had this bitch full. So I'm gonna just fucking rock this and go through it. So very first one on here, which honest to God I think is my most excited one for me that's on the whole list. This movie's called The Gorge. The trailer.
The trailer's
God
awesome.
damn. And I feel like it is intertwining quite a few of the things that we've talked about that we love so much. And so I'm going to try to get through this without yawning. Synopsis. 2 highly trained operatives are appointed to post in guard towers on opposite sides of a vast and highly classified gorge, protecting the world from an undisclosed mysterious evil that lurks within. They bond from a distance while trying to stay vigilant in defending against an unseen enemy. When the cataclysmic threat to humanity is revealed to them, they must work together in a test of both their physical and mental strengths to keep the secret in the gorge before it is too late. This movie stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Miles Teller, and Sigourney Weaver. It's directed by Scott Derrickson, and it will be released on February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day. So it looks like we're going on a bro date. Sorry, ladies. Haley and Lindsay, you guys can hang out, knit scarves or something. We don't care. We're going to a movie. Luckily, neither of them listen to our podcast, so I'm not going to get in trouble for saying that. Any hoozle. Dude, this movie looks so fucking sick. I love the entire concept of this. The trailer, the synopsis leaves it out. But the trailer, they are told what they are guarding.
Yeah.
And it is the gate to hell. Mm-hmm. Like, that is what this gorge is. The gorge is the gate to hell. And that's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. You can watch the trailer. So don't at me. I don't think anyone would. But anyways, the entire concept, again, it's 2 highly trained operatives. So we're in... It's not CIA, but we're in that realm.
They're tactical.
They're tactical. Like we're still in
fighting.
Yeah, we're still in that same realm of things. Yeah. But then, whatever the fuck, you see for a brief glimpse, come up over the edge. This is some sort of monster movie that we like well those. Documented.
We love those.
So yeah, it's got like action. It's got like thriller, horror elements. It's got almost like a romantic element. It seemed like, I don't know if it's actually a romantic or not. I have no idea. But the trailer kind of alludes to something. It's just, I love it. And Anya Taylor-Joy, she's awesome. Miles Teller's fucking dope. We just talked about him last week with Top Gun Maverick. He's been in a ton of shit that I love. Sigourney Weaver, fucking, come on.
Aliens.
Ripley, let's go.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. And the fact that it's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, literally 2 months from today. Today's December 14th. So, yeah, 2 months from today.
That's exactly right.
So, that's fucking awesome. I'm super stoked for this movie, man.
Me too, man. It definitely, like you said, it's action. It's horror thriller. It's everything we love in a movie, and it looks great. It just looks fantastic. So very excited about it.
Very stoked. This one, there's not a ton. There's not like a trailer or release date yet for it, but I just thought it was interesting because I thought that the synopsis for it is an interesting thing. So this is an A24 production. I want to throw that out there first, just to.
I like their movies.
I like a lot of the shit that they do. They've done a lot of really good like thriller, psychological,
make you think movies.
yeah, kind of fucked up, make you think things,
Yes,
right?
for
so,
sure.
synopsis for this movie is called Famous. It is in the film. Lance Dunquist has one asset that's about to change his life. He has the face of a movie star. And not just any movie star. Lance is the spitting image of a Hollywood icon, James Jansen. Lance is about to travel to Los Angeles to make his dream come true. Lance is going to be famous no matter what it takes. So, this movie stars Zac Efron in a dual lead.
Oh,
So he plays Lance Dunquist and James Jansen.
makes sense.
Also, which is actually what brought me to this, was the article that I read that Bill Pullman was cast in this.
I really like Bill Pullman.
Yep, same. And also Phoebe Dynevor. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. But yeah. Like I said, it's an A24 production. It will be directed by Jody Hill, who did Observe and Report and The Foot Fist Way. And it's directed by him, who is adapting it from a best-selling novel from Blake Crouch. And again, it has no release date yet, but I just, like I said, I want to put this on there just because I thought that the synopsis itself is kind of interesting and unique to my current thought process right now. I can't recall anything that I've seen that's necessarily similar to this. But yeah, it sounds like somebody who looks like a movie star, maybe going to LA to maybe try to overtake this dude's life in some way.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it sounds like. So
I don't know. You put A24 and Jody Hill, who did Observe and sounds like it's going to be a dark movie. Observe and
you
Report
also
had a dark twist,
you add Zac Efron in, who has done a handful of more serious, darker roles of late. He played Ted Bundy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
In I forget the name of it, but yeah. And so I don't know. I'm just I thought it was an interesting concept for a film. I'm excited to learn more about it as more stuff starts to come out for it, and then when we start getting more details about release dates and trailers and stuff like that, I'm gonna be excited to see it.
I wonder if Bill Pullman plays a detective, kind of like in The Sinner.
Yeah,
That show was badass.
Yeah, that show is good.
He was in that, so yeah. No, I like the sound of it. I like who's in the movie, and
yeah,
I would love to see. I'm excited to see more on that.
Absolutely. This one's quick, but I had to throw this on there just because I know both of us and we love fucking stupid comedies.
Hell yeah, we do.
One of the best, Meet the Parents, is getting a fourth sequel. It is now in development, and all four of the original leads are all in talks to reprise their roles. So obviously Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro, along with, honest to God, I don't know the names of the actresses, but it was Ben Stiller's wife in the movie, and then Robert De Niro's wife in the movie, who is Ben Stiller's in-laws. There's no other actual information that I got from it yet, but I was like, I got to at least throw this on there just so we can just talk about for a fact, or just for a second, that it's like, the first movie was fucking amazing. It spawned 2 sequels. So you had Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers. So that's now where her family and her are now meeting Ben Stiller's parents.
Yep.
Great
and
Fokker. Yep. And then we had Little Fockers, where now it's about them having kids, right? So no title yet. You're assuming it's going to be somewhere along the lines of the same, meet the something that has to do with whatever in their family. So
I mean, I love.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Little Fockers now that I think.
You haven't seen that one?
I went to go see it in movie theater, and shit you not, the film caught on fire, and we got escorted out and refunded, and then we never went back.
Never went back to see it again.
Now, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild that happened. But yeah, so I loved all 3 of the originals. I'm assuming, clearly loved the first 2.
Oh, the first 2 were great.
Yeah, fucking the volleyball, the water. It's water volleyball is what they're playing, right? That scene is fucking. I did also read that Owen Wilson's character is also in talks to return.
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Oh, nice.
So, because I know he was in the first two. I'll have to fact check it. I think he was in all three.
Oh, okay.
I think he was in Little Fockers too, even if it was just for a brief cameo, but I think he was in all of them. So, yeah.
Here we are, we just talked about Ben Stiller a couple weeks ago, and just he's kind of making a
little bit of
rounds
a
back come back.
A little bit of a.
I mean, he didn't retire or
comeback.
anything, but it just seems like
Kim Kardashian.
didn't hear.
Pretty sure she got caught over. This is kind of our next one is kind of a coming a little full circle almost, or not full circle, but I
We're
guess
getting
like
close.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a continuance of something that we have been following over the course of since we've been doing the podcast.
The Pooniverse.
And that is the Pooniverse, the Twisted Childhood universe that had Pooh, Blood and Honey. Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2. We talked about, was it the Bambi and Pinocchio? I think we talked about. Well, we've mentioned it. I don't think we had info on it, but we talked about Pinocchio and Strung, and now the next one is Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. The synopsis: the newest entry into the Pooniverse follows Wendy Darling as she strikes out in an attempt to rescue her brother Michael from the clutches of the evil Peter Pan, who intends to send him to Neverland. Along the way, she meets a twisted Tinkerbell who is hooked on what she thinks is fairy dust. The cast has Megan Placido as Wendy, Martin Portlock as Peter Pan, and Kit Green as Tinkerbell. It's directed and written by Scott Chambers, and it will be in theaters only from January 13th to January 15th, 2025. So it's doing a very limited theatrical release. And then my assumption is that it would end up on streaming at some point after that. But what did you think of the trailer for this?
The trailer, fuck, man. It is
creepy as fuck.
Creepy as hell. The like Peter Pan guy kind of makes me think of Longlegs a little bit.
Oh,
a little bit.
Okay, so that's great. It is a perfect combination of Longlegs and Pennywise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The wherever he was under talking to Michael, I was like, that is literally like I think they're like pulling that directly from Pennywise in the gutter talking to Georgie. Hey, you Georgie, we all fly, or if we all float down here. But yeah, and that was the first thing I saw. That I was like, "What the fuck?"
I gotta say, of all, like, this looks like probably the best of the movies that I've seen trailers for.
I feel like that probably makes sense, right? Like as they're continuing this and it's like gaining traction, they're probably getting more budget to be able to work with and make the things better. So I feel like we could probably expect that to continue to increase and grow. But yeah, 100%. I think this is like definitely looks like a better production than what the two Pooh, Blood and Honeys would be, or were. And so I mean, this is the next one to come out, because even Pinocchio and Strung, I don't think it comes out later, because all we had from that was like a video of just the animatronic Pinocchio. We didn't have like a trailer or anything for it yet. So it's they're fucking and they're slinging these fucking movies into production and getting them out too. So I mean, like, all of these now will have come out over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, man.
So moving on next. This movie looks fucking great. This is called You're Cordially Invited. The synopsis is: when 2 weddings are accidentally booked on the same day at the same venue, each bridal party is challenged with preserving their family's special moment while making the most of the unanticipated tight quarters. In a hilarious battle of determination and grit, the father of the bride and sister of the other bride chaotically go head-to-head as they stop at nothing to uphold an unforgettable celebration for their loved ones. The cast is Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon, Jimmy Tatro, and Geraldine Viswanathan. I think that was pretty good.
I think it was a good swing.
It's directed by Nicholas Stroller, and the release date will be January 30th, 2025. So coming up also this next month. Will Ferrell plays the father of one of the brides. Reese Witherspoon is the sister of the other bride, who they're the two that are kind of going head to head in it. And the trailer looks fucking hilarious. It looks
so
phenomenal.
funny.
This is another one where like I showed it to Lindsay and she was super bummed that it's not going to be in theaters.
It's on Amazon Prime, correct?
It's an Amazon Prime release. Because there's been a handful of movies that we've talked about on here. Dear Santa was one of them.
Yeah.
And then this one, and there was one or two others that like we've talked about on the show.
Nutcrackers.
Yeah, because I think that's a Hulu, if I remember.
Yeah, it was on Hulu.
That's the Ben Stiller one, right? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the Hulu. So there's been a handful of ones that we've talked about in here where like Lindsay's like, oh, we'll have to go see that when it comes out. And I'm like, well, we don't have to go very far. They're all coming to streaming. And she's like, God damn it, I want to go on like a date night to the theater. I'm like, I know, but all these fucking dope movies are just coming straight to streaming, which is, nice for, I guess, ease.
Yeah.
But we love the fucking experience of going to the theaters. I want to... Let's get back to that. Let's put these fucking funny movies back in theaters.
Yeah, I feel like the comedies are not going to theaters as much. So
I know.
Meet
It's
the
a
Parents
bummer.
4 better go to the
Yeah,
theaters.
hopefully.
Happy
I'm hoping
Gilmore
we
too.
can start to get that shit back into theaters and start to get back into comedies. Being a big part of it.
Yeah.
Next thing we're talking about is kind of just a re-up of something that we just talked about recently, not too long ago, and that's 28 Years Later, which is the third installment of the 28 Days franchise. Had 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, now we're getting 28 Years Later, which is the...
And the prequel, 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. Oh, no. Totally different. Totally different.
But the 28 Years Later it is said to be the first in a new trilogy, continuing the story of the rage virus and following the aftermath of it happening. And we finally got the trailer.
Yeah, we did.
Boy, did we. Yeah, the trailer dropped for this. This looks utterly fucking terrifying.
It does. It looks terrifying. The music too, or maybe not even.
It wasn't. No, it was a recital of a poem.
Yeah.
Done in a really creepy fucking way.
It was very anxiety-inducing.
Yes, absolutely.
I was already tense from what was going on in the trailer, but that was just adding to it, and I was just like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
Dude, I know it was. Yeah, it was. It looks so fucking good. I'm so excited. We love us some zombos, and we love this franchise specifically.
Yeah,
and yeah, so I'm super stoked for this. I think one of the things that I'm even more so excited about this is how it was shot. Mm-hmm. And you got the sense of this in the trailer because it felt like the footage that you were seeing in the trailer felt very 28 Days Later. Because, 28 Days Later came out, fucking 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
And so this movie was shot purely on an iPhone. Mm-hmm. I forget which one it was. But yeah, it was shot purely on an iPhone.
That's crazy.
And that in of itself is just fucking wild. But yeah, but so like you could get the sense of it has like a more vintage kind of feel and look to just the actual cinematography behind it. So
yeah,
it was.
There's a lot of people going, because the movies are hard to find, like the DVDs and Blu-rays for 28 Days Later and Weeks Later is really hard to find now, and they keep on going, it's gonna get remastered into 4K, but the way it was shot 28 Days Later, it won't look good on 4K because it was shot so differently I forget exactly how, but it's not able to be upgraded to a 4K. And so I know fans keep on clamoring for it, but it's not going to probably come like they think it is. And then I did hear that I heard the trilogy part, and that possibly 2 have already been filmed already.
Oh, okay.
If not most of the second one is what I read. So
okay, cool.
So,
because I read that the second one, I read that it's not going to be the same director.
okay.
Either. I think I read that Nia DaCosta, who I believe was the director for the Marvels, that she had been tapped to direct one of them. I don't know if it was the second one or not.
Gotcha.
So maybe it was like this. I forget who did the first, who did this one, but who did 28 Years Later. But maybe it's the same guy doing the first two, and then somebody else doing the third one. Maybe I don't know, but still, the trailer for this looks fucking awesome. It made me so much more excited. Do you, off the top of your head, remember the release date?
I want to say it was in June. I don't remember the date, but I think it's a June release.
So we're still a little ways away from it, but regardless, it's just the trailer. Go fucking look at this trailer if you haven't seen it yet. If you're a fan of these types of movies, this is going to get you hyped.
Yeah.
So, all right. That brings us to our special segment for this week. It is our second episode of the month.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, second episode of the month. And with that, we are bringing back Toasted or Trash. But we have a little bit of a flip-the-doozle on you for Toasted or Trash this time. Typically, Toasted or Trash, I randomly pick a movie that I want Tim to watch, whether he's seen it before or not, doesn't matter. And he does the same thing for me. And we then respectively watch those movies. We watch them, kind of take some notes on them. We come back with our own scores. We compare them to the Rotten Tomatoes scores. And then we try to guess as to whether or not the person that assigned it to us thought that the movie was toasted or trash, or maybe somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. This time, because we talked about these two movies for the Belts question, or the Blockbusters question last episode, on the episode last week, I had said maybe we should watch these for Blockbusted. Mm-hmm. But we felt like because there was two of them and we both gave them as answers, it just fit better for Toasted or Trash.
Yeah, and I think it does.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So we kind of both already know how each other feels about the movies.
Yeah, so we're not going to have to guess.
Yeah, we don't really have to guess, but it's still worth just to talk about it. So my pick for you was Celtic Pride. It came out in 1996. Daniel Stern, Dan Aykroyd, Damon Wayans. Rotten Tomatoes, just a refresher because we did cover this last week, but Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 12% and the fan score of 32%. Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I don't think I liked it as much as you did.
Okay.
I thought it started off a little slow. But then in the middle, it really started gaining track, and I found myself laughing quite a bit and everything, and then it closed strong. So I definitely didn't hate the movie. I think it just started off a little slow for me.
Yeah.
But it was
I could see that for sure.
It was fun seeing Stern?
Daniel Stern,
Yeah, Daniel Stern, and then Dan Aykroyd, and just because I haven't seen Marvin much things, right?
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Home Alone, and so it was a fun movie, and I think it was more just fun watching. Like it took me back to the mid '90s, and just like that's what we grew up through, and I was just like, oh yeah, that totally is the '90s. It screamed the '90s on there
for sure.
And then once the comedy started going, I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I chose
score wise though. What would you?
Okay, I would rate it higher than these critics and fans before. I would give it a 55.
Okay.
I would give it a 55. I didn't hate the movie. I enjoyed it, and I sat through it all. Didn't lose interest. So. Yeah, 55.
Okay. Yeah. I think last week I said I'd give it like a 75 or something. Part of that's probably nostalgia. I got a little bit of that nostalgia bug with it, and it was one that I grew up with. So
Did you rewatch it again?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Do you still feel
it's an easy watch for me?
Do you still feel that 70?
Love it.
Yeah.
I still love it. Yeah. I definitely see what you're saying with the slow start. However, I love in the beginning the scene with him running the little kids basketball practice. This is fucking hilarious
Yeah.
to me. Having been a coach and I'm a teacher and like all of it, I just like so relatable to me and all of that. So there are definitely moments where I could definitely see what you're
Well,
saying.
I was
with
excited
it being
because
slow.
that's how it started. I was like, all right, this is gonna be.
Oh yeah.
But then there was
It
just
kinda
there
dried
was
out a
there was
little
just a
and-
little
yeah.
bit of a lull there. But then, like I said, it picked right up. So
yeah, for sure.
all right. Well, I chose Rollerball for you. This came out in 2002. It is a remake.
Yep.
This had Chris Klein, LL Cool J, Rebecca Romaine, Stamos at the time, and the critics gave it a 3, and the fans gave it a 14.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh man, I had seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I had seen it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hadn't watched it since. Rewatched it the other day. It's a pretty fucking awful movie, Tim. It's pretty bad, dude. There are so many. I mean, there are. I think having Paul Heyman in it was definitely a huge part. I will say that. I think that was cool to see. It was big. I did enjoy his role in it.
I loved his announcing.
His announcing's fantastic.
What about Shane McMahon's cameo?
I know.
Just staring.
Just like looks back over his shoulder. There's like random. It seemed like a random time jump in the beginning, like where like he like sees his place being raided and he just like sits down in the alleyway, and then all of a sudden he's like in his roller ball outfit, and
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? And it's like, because that was the thing. Again, yes, I've seen the movie before, but it essentially was like a complete rewatch for me because I hadn't seen it in so long, and I don't remember any of the details.
Yeah.
Did not remember the amount of nudity.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow. Now, I don't know if it was a body double or not, but if it wasn't, you definitely saw Rebecca Romaine almost fully naked in this movie, along with multiple other people in the locker rooms.
Yeah.
And typically I'm like, I'm all good. I'm good with nudity and stuff. Like, it doesn't bother me at all.
It wasn't needed for
I
this
don't feel like
movie.
it served a purpose in
Not
almost
one
any
bit.
way, shape, or form. And like the one part where it did serve a purpose, where they're like laying together back, in the
Yeah.
locker room area or whatever. You didn't even then see anything at that moment.
Yeah.
So it was just like, what? Why are we getting just random titties flopping around in the locker room?
I was
You
just
don't-
glad Haley wasn't
you don't
watching,
really
'cause she's
need
always
that.
like, this is why you're
Yeah.
watching the movie.
But the entirety of the scene where they're trying to get out of the country is shot in night vision.
I didn't remember.
That's a really,
Oh.
really fucking poor decision in a filming view. Like you could have just shot the scenes. People are gonna understand that it's nighttime.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be in fucking like the entire thing. It made everything super hard to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was bad, man. It's not a good movie. I get the nostalgic when it came out, and like you had said too, you alluded to last week, it came out like right around the same time as like Triple X and all that type of stuff. Personally, for me, this movie would not hold a candle to Triple X.
No.
But am I mad that I rewatched it? Not at all. I'm still happy I rewatched the movie because there are moments in it where it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But I still think just like the game of rollerball is confusing as fuck, and it's not really explained that much within it.
Yeah. And they had a rule change, too.
Yeah. Then they add the rule change, which just essentially made it murder. Just murder on rollerblades.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, what did your fan score?
10.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
You're
I'm going
right in
pretty.
there.
I'm going pretty low. I'm going pretty low with it. It was a rough one. I will be honest. I was just sitting there and I was just like, holy shit. I would come close to rather had watched most of the other, the movies that we've done for Blockbusted. I would rather watch most of those again than rewatch this, I think.
It was a refresh watch for me. I alluded to that last week. It's been a long time since I watched it, and I think I gave it a 65 of my own score last week.
Yeah.
Definitely not as good as I remember. I will say that. I am not going to go as low as you. I still give it like a 35.
Okay.
It's definitely rotten.
Yeah.
But just... Yeah, I did not like the night vision scene. I totally forgot that was a thing in that. The story just kind of jumped around. It felt like it was trying to be bigger than really what the movie is.
I mean, there was like a fucking, what do you even call it? Is it a revolution?
Yeah, yeah, essentially.
Starts out of rollerball.
Yeah. Exactly.
like what? Like they you could have done this with almost any actual sport and made this movie actually it would have probably been better. But you chose rollerball.
I'm curious what the first one, the original.
Yeah,
I would
did
love
not have a.
It's an old movie. I think it's like.
Is it Dennis Hopper?
I don't.
It's the bad guy from Speed. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
That gets his head blocked off on the subway.
I'm not sure.
I think he was. I want to say he was probably like Chris Klein.
Chris Klein.
Yeah, Chris Klein's part in the original.
Gotcha. It definitely. Yeah, it was a movie, and I think the revolution was extreme. I definitely did not like movie. Chris Klein's acting in this. I do not think he's this action star.
I don't think he's a fantastic actor in general, honestly. I mean, American
Just Friends.
Pie. Oh, yeah, that's true. Fuck, I forgot he was in
Dusty.
that. Yeah, goddamn. and like American Pie, he was fine in. But even then, he was still kind of cheesy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
yeah.
Anyway.
I don't think he's a big badass guy.
I'm happy we did this for Toasted or Trash this week, though, for sure. I'm happy we did this because it was a good rewatch of two movies for me, and it was a good rewatch of one, and you got to see a new movie.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. All right.
That brings us to our finale for the episode. Blockbusters question of the week. I also posed this. I said remakes. 4-part question here. And I'm going to read them all and then we'll go through them. Okay, so first question is, what is an older movie 20 plus years ago that has since been remade that you wish never was? That's part 1. Part 2 is the same. All 3 of these are the same, bulk of the question. It's just the last part is different. So first one is remake that you wish was never remade. The second one is a remake that you think the remake is actually better than the original. A movie that has never been remade that you wish would be. Mm-hmm. And a movie that you hope never gets remade. Like you just hope that's in a vault and never gets touched.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll just start with the first one and bounce back and forth like we always do. So, movie that has been remade of a movie that was 20 plus years ago that you wish was never remade.
All right.
What'd you go
so with? This one, this one was really tough for me, and this one is more just because of what movie what got released. Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one came out in '84. Remake came out in 2010. I wasn't a huge fan of that 2010. There's been a lot of horror remakes that I thought were serviceable or really good. This one just didn't do for me. I thought it had good parts, but it wasn't as good as the original.
Yeah, I didn't care for the pedophile kind of. What the fuck's the word I'm trying to think of? Like just that kind of arc that they kind of swung in the remake. Mm. But I did like the way Freddy Krueger looked in the remake.
I did not like the way he looked.
You didn't? I actually liked the more realism vibe to it that it looked more like.
I think the actor was good for it. I did not like the look of it.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, too, I want to say that actor lost out on the original role that Johnny Depp played in the original.
Oh, really?
And then he ended up coming back and was recast as Freddy Krueger in the remake. If I'm not
Joke's
mistaken,
on you,
I'll probably have to fact check myself on that. But
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, a little fun fact for you. Now that's come full circle.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Mine is the 2017 Mummy.
Oh, with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I have not seen that one yet.
It was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It
stopped the Universal monster films from being made.
Yeah, exactly.
Franchise.
And I'm not going to say the OG because it wasn't the OG. The Brendan Fraser Mummy in and of itself was also a remake.
Yeah.
But it was a remake of like the old school monster movies, right? Like the Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Werewolf,
Yeah.
Mummy, like where it was like actually wrapped in stuff like that. Anyways, the Brendan Fraser Mummy though is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
the original is fucking fantastic. Emotep. It was just so good. So, and to have this one come out, and especially with like the hype behind it, with it being like this is gonna be the first of like this new monster universe, and then it just fucking flopped, and it was done. It was just poorly made, and there was a lot of drama behind the scenes on the making of this and all of it. It was just, It was very disappointing. So it was just like, God, I almost wish you just never would have touched it.
Yeah.
All right. So one that was a remake that you thought was better than the original.
All right. Again, another tough question. But I
feel like we might have the same one.
I went with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nope. You're just staying in the horror franchise. Are all four of them? Are you going for them?
No, not all four of them. But when I was looking through these questions, like, because I had to like start looking at movies that had been remade, and I was like,
I did the same thing. Yeah.
Damn, I've really only watched horror remakes. And but Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in '74. New one came out in 2003. Mm-hmm. I thought that one was way better. Maybe if I watched the other one again, it would kind of be better just because it's the OG. But at the time, I wasn't really into watching older movies, so this one I thought was better. I think it was great. It scared me to death at the time. I was in high school, and it was a creepy ass movie, and I loved it. And I think it's better.
Awesome. I would agree with that. I think that that remake is it's fucking great.
Yeah.
So, 100%. I would agree with you on that. Mine, I went with Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah, the Nick Cage that fucking movie is so fucking awesome. It was so well done. It was great, I thought and it might just partly be like that's the one that I kind of grew up with, and the original was like so old to me that it just didn't hit the same. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I definitely like the remake better. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
We now have a movie that has not been remade, and I want to clarify this because there are certain movies that have like sequels. Yeah, you know what I mean, and stuff that are like sequels with different casts or whatever, but the actual core of the original movie has never been remade. But that you wish would be.
All right, mine is Spawn.
Oh yeah,
I like the original, but looking back on it, the CGI is pretty bad, and I would love.
I mean, when that came out at the time, like CGI was it even called that then? Probably not. I don't know.
It was still a badass movie, but I would love to see what they could do with it now.
Well, and there's been one in the fucking works for a long time with Jamie Foxx.
Oh, really?
But I don't know that it might have got scrapped at this point. Like it may have fallen off. Yeah, but Jamie Foxx was like in talks to play Spawn, in a reboot of it for
That would be
a
cool.
long while.
I'd
and
be good with that.
I don't know if I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's going to happen now, but I mean, I'm talking, this is probably something that I had followed 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, all right. Yeah. I'd be down with that one as well, for sure. I said Grease.
Okay.
And purely because, like I said, like this is one that had a sequel that was a completely new cast of people.
Yeah.
And then it's also had like Broadway runs and stuff like that, but it's never actually been like remade with, you know, the like those characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be super interesting to do a modern
Oh, for sure.
take on it.
Yeah.
Because you could totally, with social media and phones and just where we are in society nowadays, you could take the Pink Ladies and turn them into something different. You could take the T-Birds or whatever they were, Danny Zuko's group, and turn them into a different group that isn't necessarily like your greasers that aren't really a thing anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But you could turn them into a different faction of people from a different cultural or, you know, whatever type of group from a now more modern current landscape, and still make it a musical and still put out something then that is more modern and relatable for nowadays audiences.
Yeah.
So I think it could be potentially really awesome.
Yeah. All right, last one.
Yeah. Last one is a movie that you hope, kind of like I said, remains locked in that untouchable vault. It's like you think it's so damn good and there's no reason or need to remake it. You don't want it to get touched. What is that for you?
Back to the Future. Don't touch the trilogy. Just leave it be. There.
Bottom. Back to the Future. I feel the exact same fucking way, man. Don't touch that shit. What more needs to be done? What more needs to be done? They did everything that there is to do with it. You don't need to touch anything else. Leave Back to the Future alone. Let that die with them when that inevitably happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let it just go down. Doesn't need to be touched. Let it be what it is. It's one of the best trilogies, I would argue,
Of all time.
ever made. Yeah. It's so fucking good.
I don't think you could replicate any of that anyways. Just between Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd. I don't... It's the perfect combo, and I don't think that could be replicated, and I don't want it to be replicated. So
Same. I have seen like fan casts for certain things of like if they were to reboot and having Tom Holland play Marty McFly. And I was like, yeah, that would probably be awesome. Don't fucking do it.
don't do it.
Don't fucking do it.
Don't do it.
Don't care.
Other
Don't
one,
fucking do it.
I feel like this could go for all comedy movies, because every movie I was thinking about was like, oh, that's a comedy. Oh, that's like The Mask. Don't redo that one. And I was just thinking of.
I mean, they already had put out like a sequel to it that flopped so hard with what Seth Meyers, I think, was
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's right. I get those two confused a lot. But yeah, Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you don't need to. The only thing I want to see from The Mask is if Jim Carrey wants to do a sequel to it. Absolutely.
I put that as a note. Just
Speaking
I would
of
be
Jim Carrey
up for a
sequels,
sequel.
I saw that he was asked in an interview like of his, you know, beloved characters that he has played, which one would he be like if he could pick one to reprise, what would it be? Like, which one would he want to do? And he said the Grinch, but under one circumstance, and it would be if they could figure out how to do it CGI'd so he wouldn't have to do the full makeup.
Okay.
Because he said that he was like, I could hardly breathe in that. And he said it was extremely excruciating. It was hours and hours and hours of makeup every day to do the shoots. And he said that the entire time what got him through it was that was cigarettes and the thought of this is for the kids. This is for the kids. This is for the kids. But I was like, fuck, if they could figure that out, I would be down to see him reprise that role too. See a continuance of that. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But anyways, that little off track there. But another, since you threw out a second, last thing, another one of mine that I almost put on here was Patch Adams, because that's like one of my favorite movies of all times. I think most Robin Williams movies could just be left alone. I don't think we need remakes of Dead Poet Society, of fucking Good Will Hunting, Flubber, Miss Doubtfire, Jack, yeah. Like I said, Patch Adams, most of any of those movies. Let them be. Yeah. They are what they are with Robin Williams, and they are fucking gold with Robin Williams. And there's nobody that could replicate anything that Robin Williams did. No. So, ask Will Smith. He fucking tried. His rendition of the genie.
You know what would be a fun modern twist? One would be Ready to Rumble.
That would be fucking dope.
Just have newer wrestlers.
That would be dope.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Because you could do it. You could pull that too, then, where you're getting like Impact, WWE, and AEW wrestlers all in one movie together, which would be a fucking cool thing too.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, dude.
All right, man.
All right. Well, I got a tidbit left I saved. I got cold, chunky whipped cream. Let's go.
Cheers.
It's a fine line between whether or not that was curdled or just cold. I'm not sure. Probably going to find out in a couple hours if I wake up shitting my brains out.